Welcome to Local Cooking Show. Let's get cooking. Today we're going to be making butternut risotto with cheddar chips. And these are our ingredients. We have our brown rice, our butternut that have been chopped and cubed, our butter, our garlic, our onions, our cheese, our parsley for garnish, and our chicken stock cube, which we're going to put in our pot. If you're going to also use cook our brown rice. Now let's get
So to my boiling water, I'm going to add my chopped butternut, and this water has been salted slightly. I'm going to cover it and I'm going to allow it to steam until the butternut is softened. This first batch of butternut I'm going to strain when it's cooked, and I'm going to put it on a baking tray and salt it, and also breeze some little vegetable oil on it, and I'm going to roast that in the oven until the color is darkened a little. I'm looking for a light brown color. So to my other tabletop, I'm adding 1 liter of water, and to this 1 liter of water, I'm going to be using 2 chicken stock cubes. I'm going to dissolve in that hot water. So I'm checking my butternut, and I found out that it's not yet fully cooked. It's a little hard. I want it to be cooked, but not fully cooked. So to my hot water, I'm adding my chicken stock cube that I said 2 stock cubes to 1 liter of water. The measurement you're looking for is for 1 Arborio rice, you're going to use 2 cups. For 1 cup of Arborio rice, you're going to use 2 cups of liquid. So my butternut is softened already, and I'm going to strain that out. So right now, I'm showing a demonstration on how I salted my butternut that have been strained, and I'm also going to grease it out with some olive oil. It's important to use olive oil in this process. I'm adding my olive oil, just little, not so much, to enable it to roast properly in the oven. And I'm going to put that in my preheated oven, and I'm going to allow that to roast until the butternut is slightly colored. I don't want it to burn, but just slightly colored. So I'm adding that and placing that in the oven. So right now, this second batch of my butternut, and this batch I'm going to mash it up. So I need this batch to really cook, and I need the butternut to be really softened, because I'm going to mash. I'm strain this out, and I'm going to mash this. So once it's softened, I'm going to strain that out, allow it to cook for a second or 2 or some few seconds, and I'm going to mash it. So my chicken stock is cooking nicely on the other top oven, and I'm going to allow that to cook gently. The heat is a very low heat that I'm using for my stock, because I want it to gradually cook while I'm cooking my butternut. So I'm just stirring that to ensure that the cubes are properly dissolved in the hot liquid. So I'm straining out my butternut, and I'm going to allow that to cool, and I'm going to mash that. So this my pot is going to be heated up. This is what I'm going to use to cook my risotto shortly. So I'm adding my butter to this heated pot. I'm going to stir that, and shortly I'm going to add my garlic. It's important you don't allow the butter to be on the heat for too long. You don't want it to burn. So I'm sauteing my garlic, and I'm going to add my onions and saute it for a little second. Then I'm going to incorporate into this my Arborio rice. I want that flavor from my onions and garlic to come into the fat, which is my butter. So I'm adding my Arborio rice now, and I'm going to stir that to enable the rice to coat, enable the fat to coat on the rice. This process is very important. You take note of this process, that for my Arborio rice, you don't cover your pot. You have to open it. It's not you're not going to steam your rice. You're going to simmer your rice. And what I mean by simmer, you're going to cook your rice under a low, medium, high heat. So in moderate heat, not high, just moderate. So your rice is going to cook gently, and it's going to absorb the stock gently. And it's important that you add your liquid one at a time. You don't want to add everything at once, because your rice, you're going to ruin the texture of your Arborio rice, and that's why it's a very patient rice. This recipe is a very patient recipe. Please like this video if you're give it a thumbs up if you're liking this video. So I'm stirring my rice, allowing it to cook the oil to coat or the fat to coat on the rice, and I'm allowing the rice to absorb that wonderful flavor from my onions and garlic. And shortly, I'm going to be incorporating my liquid into my rice. Like I said, it's not a recipe you stir continuously. You're going to stir every 30 seconds to enable the rice to absorb that liquid. And like I said, you're going to cook it on moderate heat. So right now I'm adding my chicken stock, warm chicken stock, into my bar rice. And it's important to use a warm stock for this. So right now I'm chopping and mashing up my butternut, which I'm going to incorporate shortly. So I'm stirring up my rice, and now it's time for me to incorporate my liquid because it has absorbed that fat properly. So you have to give it time. You have to give the Arborio rice time to absorb the liquid. And so that's why you stir once every 30 seconds. And that's why you add your liquid gradually. You'll add the liquid until the rice has absorbed the liquid in the rice before you add the next batch. So right now, my rice is cooking for more than 15 minutes. I'm checking to see if it's cooked, but yet it's a little bit hard. So I'm going to let it cook for extra 5 minutes. And that's cooked. And so now I'm adding my butternut that have been mashed. And then I'm going to stir it. Before you add the butternut, you have to make sure that your rice is al dente. That means it's cooked but not fully, not so mushy, but a little hard in the center, but fully cooked. So I'm adding my butternut that have been mashed. I'm going to stir that in, and I'm going to add my roasted butternut. At the point you add our cheese, you can also check for seasoning, maybe if it's not salted. But to my other recipe, to my butternut, I added some salt, and also my cheese is also salted, so you don't really need salt in this recipe. And for pepper, for those that like spices, you can feel free to add some little pepper and black pepper, but just not so much. It's not so much required in this recipe. Then I'm adding my cheese into my Arborio rice. And like I said, after adding your cheese, it's important you can check for seasoning because cheese is mostly salted. And so after you adding your cheese, the flavor, if it's not the flavor you want, you can add some pinch of salt into it just to boost up that flavor and taste that you're looking for. So I'm stirring that in, and my Arborio rice is almost ready. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to this channel. Give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video so far. And let me know in the comment section how the process was. Was it easy for you? Let me know. And also, you're free to ask questions about this recipe. And I'm so willing to give feedback on them. And our butternut risotto is ready to be served.